Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our send-off on behalf of Alumni Relations. We're just going to give it a few seconds as people are coming into the session. So we'll let everyone get settled in to this wonderful presentation. Thank you again for joining. It is fantastic to see we have over 200 participants joining our send-off for Canadian students. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you all here. And of course, we would love to be in person welcoming you to McGill. But because we can't do that, we're still thrilled to be here virtually. And one of the benefits of being virtual is that we get to be a nice, fun team welcoming you to McGill. So thanks again for joining. My name's Jen Peterman, and I work at McGill in Enrollment Services, primarily on the recruitment and admission side. So it is a pleasure to sort of welcome you and be part of this panel post-admission and helping you walk through the next steps. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm sort of one of those lifetime McGillians. I started off with an undergrad at McGill, then went to graduate school, graduated, and then started full-time work at McGill and haven't left for several decades. So a true McGillian, love the university, love Montreal, and I love speaking on behalf of the institution. So it looks like people are still coming in. This is fantastic. We just wanted to let you know that the session is being recorded so that if you do miss some information or you want to come back, it will be available through the University Relations website, and we can put that in the chat, I'm sure, as well. So overall, on behalf of our panel, welcome and really congratulations. Congratulations first and foremost on your admission to McGill, but also congratulations on working through a pandemic and working through high school or university studies. We really celebrate that and recognize that the perseverance you have and the dedication to your academics has definitely come through. So we're really thrilled, of course, that you're thinking of McGill for September. And also congratulations, because probably just recently you've received those final proof of graduations and high school transcripts and diplomas and such. And that is a huge feat as well. So I'm hoping that you're able to celebrate a little bit of that finality in terms of finishing school and university, and also looking forward to being with us. So a round of applause for you all. Congratulations. We are super thrilled. We're also thrilled because you are joining McGill at a very special time. We are celebrating our 200th anniversary. So you are going to be arriving on campus and in person for some of those celebrations. So again, a great time to be joining our institution. These are a series, of course, of digital send-offs that we're going to be doing. But again, it's to get you ready and prompted to be on campus this summer, or this September, sorry. And as you know, as we want to really reiterate, as and I'm sure it'll come up through the chats, is that we are preparing for students to arrive and study in person in Montreal. And so the campus is being prepared. Many of us are getting back to campus and opening up offices and getting everything ready. Perhaps some of you just went through the housing lottery system and have been assigned different housing and different buildings. And so again, you're going to get lots of information in terms of move into campus. So just rest assured that a lot is happening to prepare for your arrival to campus. And I'm sure for many students and also our parents joining and families joining, it is a perhaps anxious time, and that's okay. We know there's a lot of information coming out. There's a lot of things to think about before classes start in September, but just really rest assured that we are here for you, and we have a lot of tremendous support that you're going to learn about through this session that can really guide you through that transition to university. So hopefully this is, if you haven't, this is really your first foray into a lot of McGill information and getting prepared to arrive. Just be like, rest assured that a lot of information is coming your way. So let's jump in. We're going to start off with just a few introduction of our fabulous panelists that we have here, and then we're going to go into a sort of a shorter presentation, and then lots of time for Q&A. So just to begin, I'd like to have our panelists just give a quick wave. First and foremost, we have Margaret McDonald. She's the proud mother of an upper year McGill student, and her daughter is studying international development and sociology in the Faculty of Arts. So I think coming from the parent side, supporting a child coming to university is a big thing as well. So parents, thank you as well for your perseverance and commitment to McGill, and Margaret is definitely here to help us on that side. We also have Jeremy Levitt, is a med student and recipient of the J.W. McConnell Scholarship. He is invested in cardiovascular research with an aspiration for cardiovascular surgery and minimally invasive interventions. Wow, that's a mouthful and amazing. Well done, Jeremy. He is the founder and CEO of Stenoa and Incorporated, a machine learning startup striving to make fundamental breakthroughs in real-time video analysis for guiding diagnosis and intervention of coronary artery disease. Additionally, he sits on several committees and is fascinated by research, innovation, and magic. Oh, we're going to have to explore that one, Jeremy. But definitely you can see, I think, with McGill, that piece of research and innovation is something we all strive to do. But let's incorporate that magic. I like that idea. And we have Alyssa Day. She received a Bachelor of Science from McGill last spring and is currently pursuing her master's in McGill's integrated program of neuroscience. Wow, how do you fit time in, people, to get to these lessons? It's amazing. Throughout her undergrad, Alyssa was actively involved in the residence life community, serving as a residence life facilitator in her second year and a floor fellow, and Dawn in her third and fourth years. And we know the safety and security of housing is super important for students coming to study at university. So Alyssa is going to be a wealth of knowledge on that side. And then last but not least, we have my colleague and friend, Gilbert Lynn, is in our campus life and engagement team. And I hope you've been involved in some of his pro activities, so those pre-registration activities and pre-orientation as registration sort of got underway in June. And he's preparing for a lot of activities to happen in August, getting you ready for September. So I'm going to turn it over to Gilbert to provide a brief presentation. Thank you all for being here with us.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jen, for the wonderful, wonderful introduction. And I hope we make some magic here today, for sure, definitely. But before we actually jump into my presentation, we actually have a poll question for you. So can we please launch this poll? So we would just like to, gauge, what are you wanting to get out of this session today? So what would you like to learn today? And we'll give a few seconds for you to answer this poll. So 5, 4, 3, 2, put your answers in and submit them, and 1. All right, Rula, if you don't mind, let's see the results. Okay, so we have a lot of people, looking at tips from current students and parents. Absolutely, you will definitely get that today. Preparatory ideas for the fall semester. Yes, we will be sharing those tips and tricks for sure, and making the most out of the McGill experience. So yes, definitely, we have our panelists here today who will definitely go over that. All right, so I'm going to jump right ahead into my presentation. Okay, so welcome everybody. Again, I'd just like to extend my warmest welcome. Welcome to the McGill family. We are so excited to have you join us today. So I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks for first year success. So just another quick introduction. My name is Gilbert and I am the manager of orientation and student engagement at Campus Life and Engagement. So before we get into the meat of the presentation, I'd just like to quickly give a shout out to our host today, the McGill Alumni Association. So I think a lot of the times when we think about alumni or alumni associations, we really think, oh, it's just for students who are graduating or, upper year students, but that is not the case at all. So they have services and programs in place to support new students and their parents as well. So from helping new students navigate and transition to the university, like this event, there's also for parents opportunities for you to connect with other parents. So if you're interested in looking at ways that they support new students and their parents, you can actually visit their website on the screen or take out your phone and then scan the QR code on the screen right now. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. And okay, so the other thing is I just want to introduce, so you might be wondering, who is Campus Life and Engagement? So we are a proud member of Student Services, and our mission really is to help facilitate the new and returning students' integration into the campus community, supporting also new students' academic and personal success by promoting and encouraging co-curricular involvement, by connecting new students and engaging them in opportunities that really help them develop their capacity to make positive change on campus or in their communities. Again, if you are interested in learning about all of our different programs, you can scan the QR code on the screen or visit our website right there. Okay, so our unit though has a focus on first year. So this is what I like to show. This is kind of like the student life cycle. So from you first get admitted to going through McGill, you're like this little martlet that go through this entire cycle. We at Campus Life Engagement, we really focus on the pre-arrival portion as well as your first year experience. So we are the main office that plans orientation activities and also relay some of the most important information and resources to you. Okay, so I've been struggling a little bit how to present this content because I just don't want to do like a boring, resources and referrals presentation. So what I actually done was I recruited 4 students who used the many different amazing resources or got involved in different opportunities, and I'm going to use their voice to showcase the amazing opportunities that exist at McGill. So I want to introduce you to the first student here. Her name is Caitlin, and this is what Caitlin has to say about her experience. So I'm not going to, go over, you can read on the slide here, but I've highlighted a few key parts of it. So Caitlin mentioned the Residence Council, Residence Life, the Residence Dodgeball Tournament at our Recreation Center, Science Undergraduate Society, as well as SMOO. So let's dig a little bit deeper into what Caitlin had mentioned here. So Caitlin mentioned the Student Society of McGill University, and this is the main kind of student governing body. So they are there to advocate on your behalf. There's also plenty of ways to get involved with the student union. So within SMOO, there's the first year council. As first year students, you can run for positions there, and applications usually open, I believe, the first 2 weeks of September. There's also, I think, over 250 clubs and services, and you get to start your own clubs and services as well if you feel like there's something missing. Caitlin also mentioned Residence Life. So for those of you who are entering residences, you can get involved as a floor rep in residence councils. And I believe there's a panelist here today who actually can speak to that a little bit more later in the presentation. There's also intramural sports that you can get involved with. It's all on the athletics recreation website. And then finally, Caitlin also mentioned the Science Undergraduate Society. So what is that? So each faculty has kind of their own society or their own student associations. And then within it, there's usually kind of like a branch where first year students can get involved with. So for example, for the Faculty of Science, there is the Freshman Undergraduate Science Society, and you can, again, run for those positions, get involved, plan events or academic activities for your fellow science students. Okay, the next person I want to introduce you to is Katya. So this is what Katya has to say about her experiences. And again, I just highlighted a few key pieces that are really, really important and really interesting. So Katya mentioned CAPS, so the Career Planning Service, the Arts Oasis Office, the McGill Tribune, Skills 21, as well as SSAO, which stands for Scholarships and Student Aid. So let's look at this a little bit more in depth. So Katya mentioned the Arts Oasis Office. What is that? Well, that is for the Faculty of Arts, for Faculty of Arts students, that is your Student Affairs Office. So in each faculty, there's a Student Affairs Office. So who works in those offices? Well, your faculty advisors do. So in McGill pre-registration orientation, we covered a lot about what faculty advisors do. So make sure you visit your faculty advisors, and they are there to make sure that you are on track for graduation. There's also internship advisors there, so they can find internship opportunities for you that is relevant to your major, your program, and whatnot. The other thing is, Katya mentioned, is Skills 21. So Skills 21 is a skills development program out of Teaching and Learning Services. So they really help you practice your soft skills development, skills that sometimes you may not gain in a classroom setting. Katya also mentioned the scholarships and student aid office. So the scholarship and student aid office, like the name suggests, they kind of oversee scholarship distribution, and they help students navigate the different financial aid resources. But I feel like what people don't know is they actually have amazing financial advisors there who are able to help you plan your budget, help you, look at your budget, how would you spend university and all of that. So they can help you with a budget plan and also debt management as well. There's a Frugal Scholars program, so they come up with resources like cheap eats around campus, where to find furniture, textbooks, and whatnot. As well, they oversee the work study program. So if you receive maximum financial aid, you can apply to this program and then work on campus. The other resource that Katya mentioned is our career planning service. So this is where kind of most of our career advisors are, and then be sure to make an appointment with them. So a lot of people ask me, Gilbert, like, why would I, talk to a career advisor so early in my academic journey? Well, actually, they can help you plan out your academic journey too. They can help you find opportunities that relate to your program and whatnot. They also kind of oversee the My Future platform. So that's where all of the job opportunities are, and they administer My Involvement. So it is a co-curricular record platform. So all of your involvement opportunities will be documented on this transcript. And sometimes employers actually want to see students' co-curricular transcript because they want to see what you've been involved with and what kind of skills have you developed as a result. Okay, the next person I want to introduce you to Sam. So Sam is actually a PhD student, so graduate student, and this is what Sam suggests. So Sam suggested the tutorial services, McGill Writing Center, Office for Students with Disabilities. So again, let's look at this a little bit more closely. So Sam mentioned the McGill Writing Center. So the McGill Writing Center, as the name suggests, it's basically a place where you can develop more kind of better writing skills, better public speaking skills and whatnot. They have workshops, they have peer tutors who are there to help with your essay development, paper development, also help you kind of with research as well. Sam also mentioned the Office for Students with Disabilities. So if you have a documented disability, you can always meet with our Access Advisor, and then they will help you get academic accommodations. But for those who don't have disabilities, the Office for Students with Disabilities, though, also administer a lot of learning resources or programming that has to do with, again, helping you study more effectively, helping you take more effective notes. So those resources are available to everyone. Within the Office for Students with Disabilities, that's where tutorial services is located. And again, tutorial services is for everybody. And you can actually go and as a new student, you will get 1 hour of free tutoring. So be sure to take advantage of that. The different student societies or associations also have their own peer tutoring programs in their faculty. So you can also go find out a list of it. If you are struggling academically, you can always go there and ask for help. If you're looking at expanding your peer networks or looking just to get involved in general, you can visit our Students Helping Students website and get involved with places like the Peer Support Center or other peer support programs. So you can visit that website for that. All right, and now we have Kirsten. So Kirsten again mentioned a few very key and important resources as well. So here she mentioned the Art Hive, the Fitness Center, McGill's Yoga Club, as well as Community for commuter students. And let's, again, take a closer look at what these services are. So Kirsten mentioned the Art Hive. So the Art Hive is actually located within our Student Wellness Hub, which is a one-stop shop for all health, physical health, mental health related services. So in the Student Wellness Hub, there is a health promotion team that oversees the Art Hive, as well as there are local wellness advisors. And these are trained clinicians in faculties or in different areas of the university, and they're there to help make sure that you are doing well physically as well as mentally. And they are there to also connect you to different well-being resources on campus. For those of you who may be living off campus though, in campus life and engagement, there's actually an off-campus and commuter student support branch. So we have our off-campus orientation called Off-Campus Connects. We also have our Community Commuters of McGill program. So this is there again for you to get involved with, plan events for other commuters, and make some connections as well. Within community, there is a Junior Connectors program. So as a first-year student, you can get involved with this Junior Connectors program. We also have the McGill Office of Religious and Spiritual Life and the Yoga Club. Again, they plan weekly yoga sessions. The McGill Office of Religious and Spiritual Life provides multi-faith resources for all McGill students as well. And also the fitness center. So the fitness center is open right now. It just opened a couple weeks ago. We were so excited. So if you pay a little bit of a fee, you can access the gym actually. But as part of your athletics fee, you have access to the swimming pool, the tracks, and all of the amenities associated with that. So I'm also a McGill graduate, and this is what I have to say to all new students. You know, we are here to support you, and please know that there is a place for each and one of you. Please access the resources. There's so much out there. You just have to go reach out and, you know, take advantage of all of those resources. Just quickly, I want to mention a lot of first-year support specific resources as well. So here we have the McGill 101 online orientation, which all of you should have access to. We also have our pre-arrival webinar, so kind of similar to this, but we use Zoom and not GoToWebinars. And it covers housing, academic culture, student panel, all of the different topics that are applicable to your first year. And they've been going on since May. We also have our pre-arrival emails. So tomorrow morning, you'll get another email from us. Be sure to check those emails. They are really, really important, and they cover some really important resources. We also have our entering class Facebook group. So this is a collaboration with enrollment services, recruitment team. And we are the ones responsible for virtual orientation week, which will happen today, not today, but in August from the 23rd to the 31st. In terms of more resources, we have Engage McGill. So this is where you can see all of the engagement opportunities on campus. We also cater to specific student populations like first generation students, commuter students, which I just mentioned, Francophone students, mature and transfer students. And we work with our wonderful colleagues in the McGill Alumni Associations on creating, you know, events for you to connect with young alumni and alumni in general all over the world. So I believe you have access to my presentation. So these are all hyperlinked where you can go and find out about all of the services that they offer. Okay, and that's it. So I promise short and sweet. So thank you so much. Again, we are so happy to have you here with us today. Our contact information is on the slide right now. So you can visit the First Year website or email us at firstyear@mcgill.ca. And for our parents, be sure to join the McGill Parents Facebook group. So thank you very much. And I am going to ask Jen and my other panelists to come back on screen.
Great. Thank you so much, Gilbert. That was a really great overview. And you have provided this document in GoToWebinar. So just wanted to reassure people, if you've joined as Gilbert was speaking, you look at the handout in that panel you should have on your top right corner. And if you click on the arrow for handouts, you will see the first year tips to success and our agenda. So definitely download that so you can have that as a reference later on. We do have some questions already coming in, but also wanted to mention that if you wanted to ask a question now, you should still see in that panel the chat function. So again, just click on that arrow, it'll open a little box, type that chat question in, and it'll be sent to our organizer. Rest assured that we will try to get to it either typed chat, so keep monitoring that chat box, or we'll answer the question verbally. And when we're about to answer it, you're going to have to wait and see. Like, you won't see it in progress, but the chat response will come soon, hopefully. So we're going to get into a lot of questions, and I see we have about maybe 20-25 minutes where we're going to almost do speed Q&A to get as many things answered as we can. Let's start off right from the beginning, because I think the sense of arriving in Montreal for September might feel a little overwhelming for students, especially as just the country is starting to open up. So actually, Gilbert, I'm going to ask you the first question. lots of questions coming in just about quarantining for Canadians in Canada right now. Do students coming from other provinces have to quarantine when they arrive in Quebec?
I believe not. So no, that's not a requirement. And again, if we somehow had a few international students that trickled in too, again, all of this information is on our McGill COVID website. We have a central website for that. But for Canadian students, no.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And as we know, everything is evolving very quickly when it relates to sort of planning for the fall and the pandemic. And again, just wanted to emphasize that the priority is to have students obviously in Montreal to start learning in person. How that will look is still, being planned out, but for the majority of our academic activities, they will be in person. But you will have some courses potentially that might have the lecture as part, that will be remote as part of your studies, and then lab work in person and such. But it could be a bit of a hybrid. So I'm going to turn it over to Alyssa just to talk a little bit, if you could just highlight what your fall semester looks like. And it's maybe a little bit different because you're coming into grad programs, but maybe just touch on that experience you had kind of balancing the virtual study with what could potentially be in person.
I think for the most part, there wasn't too shocking of a transition for me moving from high school to undergrad. I guess the main difference is your course sizes are now from 30 students to like 200, 300 students. And with the slow transition back to in-person format, that's something that I would just, yeah, I think that's one of like the biggest changes. And with that comes like learning to manage your time without a teacher kind of looking over your shoulder all the time, without knowing all of your classmates and knowing what everyone's progress is in the class. And so I think in the first couple of weeks, it can be a little bit tricky to find your feet in terms of like where to go, like what materials do I need for the class? Do I need the textbook? Do I need to, like, should I change courses? So yeah, all of that can be a bit overwhelming, and I definitely felt that as well. But I would just, and my recommendation would be to just take it easy, like don't rush into anything. The profs, especially the ones that are used to teaching big first year courses, will know how to guide you, and they'll let you know what you need and what you don't need. Yeah, that was kind of my experience. I don't think there was anything too crazy that I had to adapt to. Yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy, on your side, again, a little bit of different in terms of your programming, but could you talk a little bit about obviously maybe for some of the remote things that you did in terms of how you stayed engaged and connected with students and peers and faculty even?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I'm in medical school, and so the curriculum is a bit different than from the undergraduate or graduate programs at McGill. We kind of have our own school and our own 4-year program. We don't even actually even follow the McGill academic year, so there goes that. But essentially, the struggles and the reality of hybrid and online learning, they've propagated to us as well in medicine, and I think that one of the best ways to stay involved and engaged is to always have a core group of friends and colleagues that you can rely on outside of class in the backgrounds that are progressing with you in parallel throughout your curriculum, because those are really the people that are going to keep you going, and they're the people that are going to be there for you on those longer days online, and also on their shorter days online and in person. And so having that support and having that network of people that you can actually tap into throughout your online learning to keep you going and to keep you motivated is great. Now, of course, I had the privilege of forming that group of friends when things were in person, and then we migrated into the pandemic together. And so you guys have yet another challenge of having to discover these people in some contexts online first. But I'm hoping that as the campus opens up, you'll have the opportunity to meet some of your colleagues in person and your classmates, and hopefully your lifelong friends in person. And then if ever things shift back to online, you'll be able to take that relationship online as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I do feel, I mean, we all wish, of course, we were always in person and we weren't interrupted by the pandemic, but what came out of it was a lot of innovation. And in terms of even clubs and services and activities that really were able to be maintained in a virtual sense. And I know from the Campus Life and Engagement team, really what they were able to bring in. So we're going going to try to embrace some of that virtual activity and make it accessible to students while being in person. I'm going to switch it over to Margaret for a little bit, because I think part of the student arrival is also the parent arrival and the support system that does exist. So can you talk a little bit about how you did support your daughter coming into McGill, and really kind of how much you got involved, but also how you were able to step back a little bit too? If you just want to give us a little bit of your insight, that would be great.
You know what? I missed that question because I couldn't unmute myself, so I couldn't get my microphone going. So could you?
Perfect. Yeah, we'll try. It looks like there might be a bit of a delay.
Repeat the
We'll
question.
see.
Sorry.
No problem. Yes. So if you could just talk a little bit about how you supported your daughter coming to McGill, but also sort of that independence that was also required for your daughter to study at McGill. We'll see. We may have lost Margaret for a minute. Oh, there's oh, she's coming back. It might be just a little slow. Let's just see if we can get her. This is one of the joys of virtual, is sometimes there's a obviously technical issues. Let me know if you can hear me, Margaret.
Can I?
All right. So I think, yeah, there's definitely a delay. So maybe we'll move on to a few questions. We'll see. And then Margaret, I might get you to type some of the questions in the chat. We'll see if that might work. Or
I think I heard the.
Okay. Let's see. Let's try one more time. Go ahead, Margaret, if you can hear us. All right, sorry about that, everyone. It looks like we would love to hear from Margaret. We're going to try again in a moment, but let me just see, just so that we're not.
Jen, do you want me to jump in quickly to talk?
If you could.
Yeah,
Sure.
So I've worked with parents a lot in my role in orientation, and one of the things we tell parents is always be our advocate. So when you learn about resources, when you go to some of these events or something and hear about resources, just kind of kindly remind your new student that we do exist. So there are kind of offices, units, resources on campus catered to your new students. So really, we're trusting you and using you as a kind of our communications conduit and channel to help kind of push that information out. So that's what I always tell students, new student parents, like really help us advocate for our resources, let your new students know that we exist and we're here to help them out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gilbert. And you look like you've got a visible screen, Margaret. Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear. No. Okay, you can hear me, but yes, it seems like there's a lag, so we can't hear you. All right, we're going to try again in a moment. While we're getting Margaret set up, we will go over back to Alyssa, if that's okay, because there's a few questions just about residence itself. And for many of you, these questions might have come in before the lottery took place, but as the lottery just happened, many of you now probably have received some assignments. So if you have an updated question on housing, please let us know. But maybe, Alyssa, you could talk a little bit about, regardless of the building a student has been assigned, just what that means in terms of moving in, some of the resources students will have, and also your role that you played as well as an upper year kind of mentor.
Sure. So what residence means, I guess, for an undergrad student, it just means that you will have a community that you'll be located in where you'll hopefully be able to meet friends more easily, and also have kind of an in-house support system through your network of floor fellows. So in each residence, you have anywhere between, I want to say, 4 and 7, or maybe even 10 floor fellows, also known as dons, depending on what university lingo you're familiar with. And they're there primarily to be a support resource for you, and that encompasses a bunch of different factors. They're well versed in kind of educational resources at McGill, where you can go for writing help, how to access counselors, how to access advisors, but also they are trained in things like, I mean, it's been keep in mind, it's been like a year since I've been an undergrad, but when I was a floor fellow, I was trained in things like harm reduction, active listening. So they're there also to ensure that your mental well-being is being maintained throughout that first year, where it can be very chaotic and stressful. So for me, at least, I knew I kind of had my door open often during the week, where students could just come by with any questions they had, and we could sit and chat. And they also, the floor fellows will be the ones that plan events for your residents. So those could be kind of floor teas, where you hang out with your floor in residence as a chance to get to know other people and build, again, a support network with other first-year students. Or they can be outings to other places around Montreal. Most often the floor fellows will be pretty familiar with the city, and so can recommend kind of places outside the McGill bubble as well, because that can also feel a little bit oppressive after a while if you're just in your dorm all day. So yeah, I would say the role is pretty multifaceted, and in residence, yeah, it's just a chance for you to get to know other people and build connections, and so that you're not being thrown kind of in like a new city with no resources. So I really like residence and think it's a great resource.
Yes, definitely a great way to sort of transition to university and almost independence. And then, as you will see, many students after 1 year at McGill, as they discover Montreal, move in with friends and in different neighborhoods around the city to get that even more independent experience. So we're going to shift a little bit in terms of like the academic mindset. And again, hoping again, we're back on campus. Most things will be in person. So thinking about that, because now there's the transition to living on your own or in residence, managing your time. Jeremy, advice. How do you manage the workload? And especially in a medical program might be a little bit interesting, but managing a workload and just tips on how to stay organized.
Absolutely. I think that's probably like the question when it comes to university, because there are so many opportunities that open up, and especially if you're ambitious and if you're mission driven, which is kind of the culture that McGill really fosters, you'll end up facing this endlessly, not only as you embark on your university career, but also as you embark on your career and as you try and manage your personal and professional lives. And so I think that McGill actually serves as an amazing opportunity to kind of develop some of those skills in a low stakes environment, because if you think about it, this is just the beginning to the real world and to real life. And so I think that one of the important things is to be able to really understand what your goals are, and once you've understood what your goals are and what your ambitions are, then the number one priority, the absolute priority, is to stay focused. So you really have to stay focused, and you have to always ask yourself, is what I'm doing now, or is what I'm going to do next going to contribute towards that goal? Is it going to bring me one step closer towards that goal with absolute focus and without being distracted by the nice headlines or the nice perks that some of the things you might engage yourself in will bring? And so staying focused brings on a second lesson, which is learning how to say no. Learning how to say no is really important, because a lot of the time as you're growing up, you're always saying yes to everything. And sometimes or not sometimes, but in university, you reach the point where you're going to have to start learning how to say no to certain things, because you need to prioritize and you need to be able to stay focused. And one of the things that is going to come out of your experience from McGill is opportunities. So many opportunities are going to open up, and that's one of the beautiful things about being in a world-class university like McGill. And so being able to stay focused and learning how to say no is really going to help you in getting closer to your goals and reaching your dreams.
Thank you so much. And you're right. It's a question of sometimes being selective. And especially, it's almost like being a kid in a candy store. You get to McGill in Montreal, you see there's 300 student clubs and a ton of sports you can join and lots of research you can get involved in. And there's a time limit. There's only 24 hours a day. And especially in that first year, if we think back, Alyssa, to your first year and moving into res, what were some of the things maybe you did join initially or you participated in that gave you some balance, but also some fun? Any recommendations, especially that first year?
My biggest recommendation would be joining your first year, if you're in residence, to join a first year residence council. I was the vice president environment for my residence, and I just find it a really easy way to kind of get involved in something extracurricular that's still super close to home as it's in the building that you live in, and it gives you a chance to meet, again, other students, and you can plan events for your residents that are kind of centered around what you are interested in as a first year student. And so I just find that a really easy way to get involved. And I found that really rewarding, and I think it opens up a lot of doors if you want to stay connected with the residence life community. But outside of residence, I also was very curious about all of the other clubs that McGill had to offer. So I would recommend attending activities night. I think that was mentioned in the chat. All of the clubs at McGill will basically have a booth there, and you can go and explore and kind of get to know what's out there for you. And so I signed up for a couple clubs through there as well. Some I stuck with throughout my undergrad, some I didn't. And I would echo Jeremy's point here. Just try and be selective. Don't get too tempted by all of the different options out there, because you'll also need to balance academics with extracurriculars. So try to reflect on what you're interested in, what new experiences you want to have, and let that guide kind of your extracurricular path. And there are so many clubs at McGill. And oftentimes I think you're not, there's always next year, like there's going to be activities night again. You can join a different club if you want. So yeah, it's not really like a be all end all, got to pick all your clubs in first year. So be open-minded and yeah, take things slow. Again, you have a lot of time to join clubs in university. That would be my suggestion.
A very good point. And you will see that maybe after undergrad you go to grad and then you never leave the university and you get involved in a lot of things. So plenty of opportunity. Gilbert, we're going to start with you and we're going to see if we can come back to Margaret. Just some questions related to finances. Can you just kind of give a quick overview of, when tuition assessments are done, when students pay for housing, and even just what student accounts looks like from both the student side and the parent side?
Okay, definitely. So money, we all love talking about money. It's an important point. So you will receive your e-bill early August. So that's going to be your first e-bill. And then your fall tuition payments along with residence deposits, all of that will be due at the end of August. So you will have to pay before then. And then for the winter semester, you will find your winter e-bill will come out, I think, early December. And then again, the deadline to pay for winter tuition will be I think early January. That's the dates. I don't know the exact dates, but these are all on the student accounts website. They also have a page for just new students coming to the university. If you are living in residences, and Alyssa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you will actually be paying your rent monthly, but you will be paying your meal plan in 2 installments. So also once in the fall and then once in the winter again. So for parents who would like to access for the e-bill, you can actually request guest access on the platform Minerva. So that's also where you register for your courses, where all of your information, and then you can request guest access and then access your students, your new students' e-bill. You may not, however, look at their grades though. So that's a no-no. So that's how you will be able to access their e-bill. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you so much. Very good point. Parents will not have access to transcripts and academic results, but you can establish with your children how they want to check in with you and make sure things are going on. Jeremy, very particular question, but I think this is relevant for what you're studying. Students that are thinking potentially medical school down the road or physio or any other health science, what are some what you recommend as an undergrad student coming in, the type of kind of pre-med prep they should do, or things they should get involved in?
It's a very common question, and I think that it's well warranted, given the competitiveness of any health profession school. So I think when you think about a career in the health professions, especially if your goal is to stay at McGill, I think you need to think a lot about being you. You need to think a lot about, what are the things that motivate you to become a healthcare professional, whether that's a physician, whether that's an occupational therapist or a physical therapist, whether that's a nurse, or whether that's a speech language pathologist or a dentist. I believe those are the 5 programs that they offer in the health professions at McGill. And when you think about those health professions and what are some of the things that drive you to be so compelled to pursue such a career, you need to think about, what it is in your personal and professional life that that drives you to contribute to the field. And I think that in developing those traits and in developing those skills, it'll bring you much closer to being successful in that career. And so, unfortunately, there is no recipe, and anyone who tells you that there is a recipe is going to be guiding you in the wrong way, because the goal of this journey is to develop yourself and be a better healthcare professional for it. And so my advice to everyone is, harness the things that make you you, and develop them to the extent that they're going to make you shine in everything else you do. And so if you continue pursuing those passions, if you continue pursuing those interests through your courses and the things that motivate you and compel you to give back to others as a healthcare professional, then that'll be the best thing to position you for a career in the health professions. It's not always about quantity. It's a lot more often about the quality of the work that you do and the things that you involve yourself in. And so my best advice to any aspiring healthcare professional is to continue being yourself, and to continue shining for it, because by working hard and by having those attributes that allow you to be the most successful person you can be, in whatever things make you you, you'll ultimately be best positioned for a career in the health professions.
Thank you so much. And that really actually what you've said highlights any type of, I think, opportunity students want to do after their undergrad, whether it is to go to grad school or a professional school such as medicine, law, dentistry, or into the workforce. That balance, showing your commitment, and whatever you truly want to get involved in, that's really about you. So really great advice. Thank you, Jeremy. All right, we're going to try Margaret. Hi, Margaret. Hopefully we're back in and we've got you here, because I think one of the pieces we are absolutely missing, so we'd love to hear from you, is really how to support a son, daughter, child coming into university and balancing your need to protect and oversee, as well as giving them that independence. So tell us a little bit about your experience and any recommendations or resources you might have. Yeah. Oh, poor Margaret. I'm so sorry. It seems like we're still not connecting. I don't know, Gilbert, too, if there's something very quickly you wanted to mention just on the parents' resource side of things, and just how also working with first-year students, that balance of independence and oversight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, like one of the
Am
big
I
reasons.
here now?
Oh,
I was muted by the organizer.
oh, there we go. Oh, perfect.
Am I here
We've
now?
got you. You are here. Yay.
Yeah. Yes, I am here. Okay. After all that, I forget the question, but I think you wanted some insight into how I supported my daughter during first year and all of that. I'll just give a brief introduction. She had some social anxiety going into university, was very, very nervous about leaving home, was a little bit too attached to us. So this was a nerve-wracking experience for her, for us, for all of us. But I really encouraged her to get involved in everything that was possible. And McGill was a great experience for her. It was challenging and scary, but it was also eye-opening and offered so many opportunities and experiences that were amazing. And everything that you've said so far, she got involved in her residence life, Frosh Week. I just encouraged her to do as much as she could. She got involved in a drama club and a dance club, and it was a challenge to balance the academics with the extracurriculars. But I do think it's really, really important to have some extracurriculars, to have some fun, to have some opportunities where you could meet other people that share interests like yourself. The writing center was amazing. The other thing that McGill offers that I thought was really exceptional, that I don't know if a lot of people took advantage of it, was the budgeting, online budgeting services. She learned how to budget, how to manage her money. The meal plan was very good as well. It can be held over. So if you don't spend all your money in 1 year, and they do offer incredible advice on how to make the most of your meal plan. And if you follow that, she still has money left over and she's going into 4th year. So she managed her meal plan very, very well. And again, she's been writing for the McGill Tribune and now is an editor for MIR. The opportunities have been exceptional, and it's been just an exceptional journey. But like I said, it's been challenging but rewarding. And she loves Montreal. We love visiting her. So it's all been good.
That's fantastic, Margaret. Thank you. And I think you did raise such a good point. Like, I mean, absolutely supporting someone going through the journey, but allowing them to experience some of it on their own as well. Is there any other advice you can give just from almost like a technical or operational side related to like even finances and paying tuition bills, and again, accessing resources from a parent side that you think our attendees would like to know about?
I'm not sure if I can. I mean, I think it was pretty straightforward. I mean, I'll be honest with you. She was more assertive as far as managing her money. Like, she was very nervous about running out of, like, she loves to eat. I'll be honest with you. She's a foodie. She loves to eat. So she was really nervous about running out of her meal plan money. And I kept saying, don't worry, if you run out of your meal plan money, like, we can top that up. So, like, but I think no, I'm sorry, I can't really. I think it was that McGill does a really good job, and I think most universities do. My son's at another university. They do a really good job for outlining everything that it's going to cost. But I think at McGill, what I really appreciated, and this is a very small thing, but it taught her how to budget, was they allow students to look at the meal plan, and that's something that really tangible that students can look at, and they can learn to budget from that meal plan, because it's not an all you can.
All right. Sorry about that, Margaret. We lost you again. Okay. There we go. All right. I think
it's very much driven.
All right. We're
Sorry, am I back?
We're losing you a little bit, but I think we got the general gist of it. So that was fantastic. Thank you so much. We have about 5 minutes left to our session. I can't believe how fast this went, but I want to leave our panelists with just kind of some words of advice. If you can share like a quick 30-second piece for either students and parents to start thinking about for the summer, like prep before coming to university, or just through the experience yourself that we haven't touched upon. So I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but let's go to Gilbert first. Just some like last minute ideas, reminders, and takeaways if you can.
Tips and tricks. I just did 15 minutes of that, but one thing I just want to just keep emphasizing, I hope this point goes home, is just please reach out. We are here for you. There are so many different resources and so many different types of support that is here, but we need you to reach out. So we do have, mechanisms in place where we can spot students maybe not in a good mental place or physical, well-being place, but please just reach out to us. We are here. Student services, there's so many different kind of services that caters to, different aspects of your wellness. So we are here. reach out. Let us know if you need anything. Just email us. And then, you know, my office's motto is always, you know, email us. And if we don't have the answer to your question, we will make sure that we find someone who knows the answer to your question or direct you to the right resources. So reach out, just reach out, reach out, reach out.
Thank you. And just for that reach out, and it's in the document, but just so we have it on record, firstyear@mcgill.ca. Is that correct for your email? Fantastic. So first year at McGill, if you can just remember that one email address, you're good to go. Alyssa, how about you?
I guess one thing that comes to mind is try not to get too worried about missing out on any specific event in your first year. I feel like as a floor fellow, one of the main questions I got in the first couple of weeks was, I'm not doing frosh, like, is this going to ruin my undergrad experience? And it's not. There's no one event that's going to define whether you are happy during undergrad or not. I know tons of people who did frosh and who didn't do frosh who are super well adjusted and found their people. And same with living in residence versus living off campus. It's really up to you and what you think you'll benefit from, and maybe your expectations won't be met. That's also fine. But at the end of the day, like I said, there are so many opportunities, and I would encourage you to just put yourself out there. In terms of it being kind of a more hybrid format, I know it's harder to meet new people, but just, you know, send people a message, ask them to get coffee, ask them to do a call online. If you're introverted like me, first couple of weeks, you just have to grit your teeth and get through it. But it really, you know, everyone is in the same boat. And once you just make a couple of connections and find someone to kind of be, to connect with and stay in touch with, it'll be so much easier from there. And you'll kind of, once you get older, it'll be easier and you'll kind of be in your rhythm. But yeah, the first couple of weeks is essential. So just put yourself out there. And also, I would say, be patient with like the transition. I think sometimes the workload is a big change for some students. The environment, not being at home, is a big change. And that's totally normal. Again, your first year doesn't define the rest of your undergrad, and it's really a transitional period. So just be patient and reach out for support when you need it, because there's lots of resources available that aren't taken advantage of. So yeah, and good luck.
Thank you, Alyssa. Really great words. How about you, Jeremy? Any last tips?
I think that Alyssa summarized that beautifully. But if I can add just two things, one from the technical perspective and the other on a more high level. From the technical perspective, My Courses is going to be your best friend, and it is actually going to be your number one resource for all academic activities at McGill. So certainly, if you haven't familiarized yourself with it yet, once you've registered for your courses, do take the time to familiarize yourself with it. It will be your second home for school, and it's where you'll be communicating with all your professors, submitting most of your assignments, getting access to your course material, and also engaging with your colleagues in several locations through many of the features that are on My Courses. So definitely take the time to get familiar and intimate with My Courses, because you will be very quickly as soon as the semester starts. On a higher level, I think that my message to you is to stay passionate and to stay focused. And if you stay passionate and if you stay focused throughout your career, it'll get you through the good days, it'll get you through the bad days, and ultimately it'll get you to where you want to be. And I think that we're all coming to university with a goal in mind of where we want to be, and so I wish you truly that you find that goal, and that you continue to grow and you continue to succeed in all you do.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you. And Margaret, let's try to see if, can you give us some advice on the parent side now, like thinking of your position back a few years ago? Any advice?
Very basic, can you hear me? Very basic advice. It was a heat wave when we arrived in McGill 4 years ago, and there were no fans in Montreal. So if you're living in residence without air conditioning, think about buying a fan before you get there.
I love it. Thank you. These are some
But other than that, just try to enjoy the experience, keep in contact.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I love it because I remember one parent saying too, like, don't worry, if you don't have pots and pans, there are Walmarts and IKEAs and everything else that exists in Montreal too. So you can always pick things up. Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our time. So I just wanted to remind you all that, again, we know it's a big university. There's a lot of information out there. So take your time, do a lot of research over the summer. Honestly, go through our website. A good start, of course, is mcgill.ca/first year. That's your starting point. We have lots of the handouts if you want to download those now. That's just a great way to start. Once you get to campus, showing up at Service Point to get your ID, but then just take it day by day. Don't be scared to talk to professors and talk to your advisors. It will definitely roll out smoothly. Congratulations again to all of you. You've worked really hard. I do hope you get a time to enjoy the summer a little bit before school does start. And keep in mind that we have this recorded and there will be other send-offs coming out. So keep an eye on your mailbox for an invitation to an exclusive networking event on Brazen. And this is going to connect McGill parents and students from around the world, so much more interactive where you can actually talk with peers and parents. So that'll be really exciting. And I think very important for parents as well, because you are looking for a lot of information, is that next month, alumni will be inviting new parents to join sort of an inside scoop, kind of a virtual parents tent from August 23rd to 27th, just again to get you connected and really familiarize you with some of those logistics pieces and operational pieces. So thanks again. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We gave you the first year at mcgill.ca or Clay at mcgill.ca are two great ones to contact us with. And thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Jeremy. And thank you, Alumni Relations, for hosting and organizing this event. You are all super fabulous, and I wish we had more time to discuss everything, but your words of wisdom were perfect. So really, really appreciate it. So on behalf of McGill, thank you again for being here and joining us today, and have a great summer, and we look forward to seeing you in September. All the best, everyone.
Born from a will, made here by dreamers and risk takers, by makers and big thinkers. Through trial and error, we face what's ahead, staying true to the voice that never fails us. Keep learning. We were made for this. Made by lamplight and late nights, by salut and goodbyes, by questioning everything and feeding our curiosity, by testing our resilience, by finding our limits. By pushing forward and by breaking through, by finding a new way, our own way. We're made where ideas are built and built upon, where we come together and we rise above. We are made by McGill.